Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 464 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I am here today with two of the finest geeks that you're ever going to meet who are willing to pretend that they are in low Earth orbit and talk about the tech news of the day. I have Chris DeBona.
Hi, everybody.
And Rob Roseboom.
Good morning.
Everything is fun and exciting. Hands are washed. We're feeling safe. We're feeling clean.
Well,
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, as we discussed earlier, there is a hotbed of coronavirus in my city. So,
yep. 92% in the prison.
Yeah. So the prison where my brother-in-law works.
Works.
Yeah.
You know, work in the laundry room isn't the same as like being a guard.
It's still a job, Chris. Anyway.
Even if it only pays $3 a day, and it's basically indentured servitude. But
$3 a day. That's luxury. Anyway.
Jackson.
It turns out that 92% of the inmates tested positive for antibodies.
Wow.
And something like 76 staff members, my brother-in-law included, tested positive as well. And we were just talking, I wonder how commonplace this is going to end up being once tests start becoming more and more available.
Yeah, no, my wife took the Project Baseline COVID test earlier in the week, and she got back her results, and she was not, in fact, infected. And it's not an antibody test, but they're like, yeah. So I booked mine. So mine's coming up on the 1st.
Yay.
It's, you know, and I guess we'll see. You know, I don't think it's going to show anything. Mr. Malda, I have to tell you something. Uh-oh. You have a piece of smudge on your camera.
I know.
And I hate it. You have to fix that. You see it?
I do. All right.
You didn't fix it.
Let's see.
You didn't fix it. It's still there. You could crop it out too, you know.
Let's see if that got it.
No.
Did I move it?
No, you didn't. What is it?
I moved it a little.
Here's what you do. Hit Alt and get a hold of the box holding your face in OBS. And scooch it over, because when you Alt move any of the tags along the square that holds your face, it crops. It doesn't move.
I know how it works. I know how it works, but now I'm kind of leaving it just here to see what it does to you.
It's gonna make me miserable.
I'm just saying, have you considered that might be the beginning of the great nothing? Maybe that's why you can't clean it off.
Yep.
It's just...
I mean, it could be a damaged piece of your CCD, but it's the wrong shape for that. That looks like a bug or you sneezed or something.
No, there's a piece of dust on my lens, and I'll clean it off someday.
It's infuriating. Okay.
But not this minute.
So I wanted to share with y'all that I picked up the mouse mat from Steve at Gamers Nexus.
Gamer Nexus mouse mat. Are you going to use camera 2?
I want to share with our viewers.
Do you have camera 2?
I'm going to use camera 2. Are you ready?
Yeah, show me camera 2. Oh, did you transition? You faded to camera 2.
I transitioned. Wasn't that cool?
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's here, let me move my keyboard here.
I can't do transitions with my camera because I've got the stream running through it. So I'm stuck with my aspect ratio and camera position, which is annoying.
Well, you know, you can run multiple copies of OBS.
I know. I might.
So this sounds dangerous.
Boot it up on another machine. Yeah, then it's going to be like 3 weeks of me screwing with sound settings again, and you're going to get annoyed every time we start up the call and there's feedback. Why are you echoing again, you dick?
No, it wasn't echoing. You were stuttering. You were electrically stuttering.
That was just the latest problem. You know? It's working now,
That was the latest problem. Yeah, you sound great. You sounded great on the broadcast last night.
I reinstalled every single driver that could be reinstalled.
Welcome to the technical difficulties episode of Geeks in Space.
That's right. Well, we're going to get to a technical difficulty in a little bit, but let's get some fun stuff out of the way.
Yes.
There's a cool story about putting your ashes in orbit, which is actually kind of interesting. At the price points that they're saying, it's actually not that insanely different than just getting buried in a traditional funeral home.
Yeah. Burials are super expensive. Even just a simple cremation is crazy expensive. And the article is kind of
absurdly so, because they want to embalm you before they cremate you.
Yeah.
When a family member of mine died, they're like, and here's the embalming fee. I'm like, we're burning them up. Why are we embalming them? And they're like, well, most people like to treat. Da, da, da. And I'm like, no. What the hell's wrong with you?
Do not care.
You know?
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, that is cheap. 12,500. Is that for all the ashes? Well, also,
no, you didn't read the article. You didn't read the article. They split your ashes into 2 separate sources.
Yeah, they make you send double the amount of ashes that they're actually going to send up.
Oh, so they split it across multiple rockets in case the rocket doesn't make it?
Yep. Insurance policy.
Oh, that's smart.
It is smart.
And then once your ashes do successfully make an orbit, the extra ashes, they just spread on the ground where they launched the rocket.
Which is actually pretty cool. Especially if they launched from 39A or something, but I know they don't. But
this is going to be like that New Jersey company that said they were cremating people, but they were just kind of throwing them in the back in the dumpster. You know,
I've been doing that for like 3 years now. It smells a little, but I mean, honestly, I don't care. Well, it's just other people that they can smell it.
You just tell people it's a compost bin. You know.
Yep. It's just old carrots, some potatoes.
It's old carrots. You know, broccoli doesn't smell good after like a little bit of time. It really smells like it's earthy and bad. So
yeah, it was also interesting to read that they have some regulations about the canister to make sure that it burns up if it falls back to when it falls back to the earth. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad they've thought this through.
Yeah. Well, you know, you don't want the earth. I mean, there's enough satellite debris around. You don't want canisters of ashes covering the sun eventually in 10 years.
I mean, they're not Elon Musk. They're not being irresponsible in space. Okay. They're not blocking observatories. They're not creating a hazard in low Earth orbit. They're not going to, make the Kessler syndrome happen.
No, but they send you a tracking number.
That's extra.
They send you a tracking number, so you can get reports when it's overhead, so you can go take pictures. Yeah. There's Grandpa.
Oh, Grandpa's burning up in the atmosphere.
No, they do though. They've got a time frame, and they'll tell you when because they're committed to not creating space waste. So it's cool.
Can they turn your ashes into a shooting star? Is the question.
I'm sure they could, but that's not the basic package.
That's extra.
Yeah. That's what we call the comet package, and it's very tasteful and reasonable when you figure out exactly what goes into making your loved one a shooting star at the end.
It's like the equivalent of embalming before a cremation,
Right.
But if we apply the comet package, they will be a special color in the atmosphere when they burn up. This is a very tasteful discussion.
Oh yeah. This is how. Well, to be fair, go ahead, Rob. To be fair,
to be fair,
you can't call it out. You have to let it happen.
I was waiting. I assumed you'd catch it.
I thought it was to be clear. No, it's to be fair. No, it's to be fair.
To be fair. Let's go to LI and say to be fair a lot.
Still haven't seen that episode.
When I die, I hope that you guys go out of your way to make something awesome like that happen. I think that was it Hunter S. Thompson who got shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
No, I think he got injected by Jim Morrison or something. Like somebody, like there was like some fishy drug thing going on, right?
That seems like you're off by a good quarter of a century.
Yeah, by decades.
Yeah. Well, but I mean,
this isn't the time travel episode of Geeks in Space.
That's next week.
Yeah. And then Mark Twain came out of the holodeck. Yeah. No, all right.
All right. So there's a. In case you were worried about getting infected by the COVID from the 5G, there's you can buy USB devices that will protect you. And somebody bought one, took it apart, and it turned out it's just like a 128 meg USB drive.
Oh, that's some high quality content.
That's
there.
Great.
That's great.
That's great.
128 megabytes.
Yeah. The article that I read was really funny. They were like, we didn't even know you could buy 128 meg USB sticks anymore. Like, that's too small to even bother with. So somebody had an inventory and put a sticker on it. And it's endorsed by some minister.
So do you know by what mechanism it was supposed to protect you?
Magic.
Or
obviously the crystal sticker thing.
I mean, even when something's bullshit, there's usually an explanation with the bullshit, right?
Listen, 5G BioShield surrounds your whole house in a healthy aura. I don't know why you're questioning it, Rob.
Well, there we go.
I mean,
That's it. You know,
it's
it
an aura.
protects you with an aura.
Yep.
Yeah. And apparently that's if you plug it into a desktop machine. If you plug it into a laptop, it just gives you a personal aura shield.
A bubble.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It has like a multi-stage bubble around you in this picture.
Well, the other thing is you really got to make sure that you plug it into a USB 3 port if you want to get its full radius. Otherwise, you only get like, a third of the diameter.
Oh, no. The reason you need USB 3, I mean, I can't believe I have to tell you this, but, the 3 is the triangle, the sacred shape, whose angles always add up.
Yep,
and, I mean, this is why Iron Man's, power thing went to a triangle, because it's more powerful than a circle.
It's pyramid power.
It's pyramid power.
The Egyptians knew what was going on.
Totes. Right. Although those were four-sided pyramids, right?
That's true. Linus Torvalds got a new PC. He's gone AMD. He's gone Threadripper. So now I'm already jealous that I only got a regular 3900X, and he's got a Threadripper. Way to go!
Yeah, I mean, if you want to compile the kernel, you want as many cores as possible.
No, it's
right?
it's the perfect use case for that. I actually watched a video. I don't have the URL. The guy was building a PC for a different kernel developer, and he was saying he could build the kernel in an hour and a half. And I was like, you used to be able to build the kernel in like 20 minutes, and that was like on a 486. And it's like, wow, times really have changed.
So is the kernel. I mean, yeah. So that was Greg Crow-Hartman. Remember, Greg, he's constantly building kernels. So that guy really needs as much power as humanly possible.
Totally.
So yeah.
I did like his little machine though. It was a nice build.
Yeah, I bet.
GE,
I like Linus.
GE is turning off their light bulb business. No more light bulbs from GE, which makes me wonder what's.
I thought they turned it off a while ago.
Jack, what from 30 Rock? Right.
It
seems like
no. They reported through Shineheart Wigs though.
The Shineheart Wigs. They didn't sell light bulbs anymore at Shineheart Wigs.
No, they just did portable microwaves. I loved every bit of that storyline in 30 Rock. Every time they'd bring up the GE parent company thing, engines, microwaves, and wigs.
They had a chart with all of the corporations linked together. You could see their org chart. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
They also Space Force is on Netflix, so we can watch that this weekend.
Oh, is it on?
It's like out now.
Awesome.
I've read some reviews, and it sounds like it's like every one of those sitcoms. It's got good bones. Hopefully it grows into them. It's got some funny parts. I'm looking forward to it. That's probably tonight.
Yeah. Have you watched it yet or not yet?
No, save it for Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, first seasons can be tricky. The writers have to get the tone, the actors have to get the tone. They're trying to figure out what works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, if we know anything from Greg Scher's history, first season of The Office different than the rest of The Office. First season of every show, they figure it out, or you get canceled in season 2. There's a new movie calendar for the movies that are actually being released now, following everything getting settled down, in theory, I guess. Let's see, I wanted to get that up. There, Wonder Woman is late summer now, and Tenet is like I think Tenet is sticking to their original release date.
Like December, right?
No, like June or July. So it's Pixar Soul coming out June 19, Tenet July 17, Mulan July 24, Wonder Woman August 14, and Bill and Ted August 21.
Wow. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm willing to go to a movie theater to watch Bill and Ted. Like, I want to see that movie probably more than anything that's not a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie. And I don't know that I'd be well. I know my wife would not go to a theater, and she can literally quote to you Bill and Ted start to finish.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my town, you can't throw a dead cat without hitting someone with COVID. So, whatever, chances are I've had it already.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Although one of the two theaters did close down this week, and I imagine that is
Like
going to
permanently.
happen. Yeah, or
What
has
chain?
happened already. Carmike.
The Quality 16, that's right by my house, they were in bankruptcy, and they announced their bankruptcy like a week before everything went into quarantine. So like, if they just waited 2 weeks, they could have got all that stimmy money, and they would have been fine. But yeah, Bill and Ted, man. Black Widow is November 6th.
Yeah.
James Bond.
So I found the GE org chart here.
All right. Oh, Dune, December 18. They have not changed their release date. And Top Gun, December 23.
December 23rd. Can you imagine, like, you've been sheltering in place until Christmas, and you're like, let's go watch the next Top Gun movie?
I mean, actually, if you would have started by sheltering in place like in 1988, and maybe you were just waiting for more Top Gun to come out of your 80s shelter.
I mean,
here's your chance.
You've gone through the entire Iron Eagle catalog, but that wasn't near good enough. Yeah, they were all terrible. I hate Top Gun too.
You don't like the volleyball scene in Kelly McGillis and when all the guys in their suits sing their songs?
It's all stupid.
Yeah, but I mean, when I was a kid, it was like, it's aimed at kids. It's like, whatever.
That was not a movie rated at kids. That was a rated R movie, wasn't it? It had boobs.
No.
Yeah, that was for knuckleheads. Sorry,
it was knucklehead kids. It was for knucklehead kids. Well, knuckleheads, boneheads.
well, it was for people who thought it'd be awesome to fly a fighter jet, but had none of the skills or education to actually get into the Air Force. That's who that show was for,
It's true.
Yeah,
knuckleheads.
Really. Knuckleheads. Well, the funny thing about it too is, like, they had to sort of like make up like someone to dogfight with, and I'm like, this is really unrealistic. Even as a kid, I was like, right. I don't. They just like are they going up against the like the fake nation of Genovia or something? Or
sure,
right?
It's just.
And I mean, even at that time, even though our technology wasn't great, dogfights aren't like World War II dogfights anymore. Dogfights are like looking at your radar screen and launching countermeasures
from 3 miles away.
Yep.
Right.
I launched my Sidewinder from a different zip code.
Exactly.
There's an 8 gig Raspberry Pi now, $75 in case you need one.
That was nice. Yeah.
There's a weird article on history of Unix man pages. And I only was interested in that because I liked how they divided the history of Unix into the Renaissance and the prehistory and the classical age of Unix. All right, Unix has been around long enough that it has a Renaissance and a classical age. Cool.
It does.
I mean, it makes sense.
But no,
a lot
iron.
Of these people have retired, man.
Yeah.
No Iron Age or anything like that. Nothing. Nothing so basic. Just.
No, that was the IBM 360.
Yeah.
So.
PDP.
So I'm trying to see what else released that same week as Top Gun. Like, like you go to Top Gun, or you could go to what?
All right.
So it came out May.
This
16th.
was also a time though that there weren't a huge amount of multi-screen theaters. So
yeah, that's true.
Not as many movies got put out at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could theoretically own like a couple of weeks in your big theater.
Okay. What came out the week before though?
You're gonna have to
Short
tell
Circuit.
Us. Oh! No,
right?
Disassemble Stephanie.
And the week before that was No Retreat, No Surrender with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I do feel like though, so there was a window, and it was the year where I turned 16, and I got my driver's license, and for about the next year and a half, I saw every single movie that came into the movie theater. Like every single, like I saw horrible rom-coms, I saw everything. And you could do that back then because most weekends there was only one new movie, maybe two, at least in Holland. So it was actually totally plausible that you could see every movie that came out. And now, even with like Netflix and Hulu, and like even the fact that I don't have a job, even pre-quarantine, it was not really practical for me to see every movie because there's 2 or 3 movies that come out into the theaters every single weekend. I don't care about.
Do you know what came out 2 weeks after Top Gun? Big Trouble in Little China.
Ooh, that's a good one.
1986 was a good year. Space Camp, June 6th.
We need to do Space Camp for.
We totally have to do Space Camp. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, June 11th.
Space Camp and Short Circuit are like 2 of the 80s sci-fi-ish movies that I most adored.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have
Labyrinth, June 27th. I mean, come on. 1986 was a great year. You know, you didn't have to watch Top Gun.
You had options.
You know, Milo and Otis, June 27th.
Yeah, they abused those animals.
I think the target. Yeah, they did. I think the target audience for Labyrinth and Top Gun were probably different, though.
They could be in the multiplex. The kids could go see Top Gun, and the parents can go see Milo and Otis.
The Rob Lowe vehicle, About Last Night, July 2nd. I mean,
so I have one last thing, and I feel like we should discuss it.
Not one, but 2 movies featuring the fat comedian guy.
John Candy?
Uncle Buck.
No. Not Uncle Buck.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
No. You guys are killing me. He was in Caddyshack and Back to School. So Back to School was the first one.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield. He was in like 3 movies in like 3 months. You know,
that guy was very interesting. He sold aluminum siding until he was like 40, and that's when he got his big break in comedy. A lot of people. He never was going to be a comedian. He was super old when he finally hit it big. Yeah, interesting life, that dude.
But I mean, as far as I can tell, he only had like 1 joke.
Year. Listen to this. He had 1, 2, 3, 4 credits in 1986 alone. I mean, that's crazy.
Have you ever watched Ladybirds or Ladybugs? Is that the soccer movie?
Yes.
It's in 1992 featuring Rodney Dangerfield.
It is really bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is nonsense.
Is it like a girls' soccer team?
Yeah, it's like he's the coach of the girls' soccer team, and they bring in a boy who dresses as a girl. Like, it is really bad.
Why do you hate lady soccer, Rob?
Dude.
I think I have a bigger problem with Rodney Dangerfield than I have with lady soccer. He's hard to watch.
And do you know who played the kid who was a boy who played the girl? And that was the kid from Neverending Story 2.
Which I've also never
seen. Sequest. He was the short kid in Sequest, the one who died.
So,
just saying.
So Chris, we got 5 minutes left. We need to talk about Trump.
Yeah, I'm so wasting it.
We need to talk about Trump.
Racist piece of shit. You know? Okay,
so he's gone to war with Twitter.
Yep.
It's kind of amazing.
No, and it's to distract us from the fact that he's trying to deploy the military in Minneapolis that he doesn't have power to do. You know, he's terrible.
Well, yeah, I heard if they start looting, he starts shooting, Chris.
Yeah. Can you picture him like trying to stand up straight?
He has bone spurs, Chris. He can't stand up straight. Spurs. It's very serious. That's why he couldn't shoot the guns in the Vietnams.
Yeah. I mean, isn't the veil off for his supporters at this point?
They are emboldened by this. This riles up his base. This guarantees these are decisions that will give him a couple % higher vote turnout amongst his base. That's the calculus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, although when it comes to those folks, I'm not sure they need much more riling up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got them already. He's got the fish. He doesn't need to put on fresh bait.
I mean, isn't the cortisone levels in their body so high that their hearts are about to explode from the stress of being a Trump supporter? You know, 'cause they have to be angry all the time. They have to be pissed off all the time. They have to be afraid all the time.
Yeah,
no,
it's like,
gonna
aren't they just a couple hot dogs away from just like?
I think you're forgetting though that America is so much greater now than when Obama was in charge.
Yeah, we're in such good shape.
No, now we have to keep America,
especially on the world stage. You know, gosh, you know.
Oh, certainly that. I mean, we're idolized even more by every other nation because we're so awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not a laughing stock.
Not at all. Not at all.
I have mixed feelings on all of this. I actually really like the idea of fact checking.
You're really super into riots?
Yep.
You know?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm backing up to Trump, the actual subject.
Oh, right.
Okay. I have mixed feelings on this. Like, I like the idea that you would, surface fact checking kind of information on Twitter. I am a little bit a little bit disappointed that Mark Zuckerberg, dead at 36, was so against fact checking social media. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, well, he's got that extra arm on the back of his neck, which I thought was always really interesting about Mark Zuckerberg.
Third arm.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to talk about that. I don't know. Like I'm uncomfortable with it because that puts a lot of power into Twitter, but also like they don't fairly they let him go and other people are getting their crap talk taken down for less. So I mean, as long as you're gonna apply the rules equally, I don't know.
Like I get that the tweet of a president is different than what Crazy Joe who lives down the road has to say about things, but there is also something to be said about consistency. Like this should have happened. If they were going to do it, this should have happened almost right away.
So I think that actually, between the Federal Records Act, the National Records Act that preserves presidential communications, and all the rest, I think I actually, I would have made it so he couldn't edit or delete posts, so every typo, every mistake, every screw up, he just couldn't remove it. That's what I would have done, years ago at Twitter. And I actually told them to do that.
But that's not Twitter's job. It's not Twitter's job to archive the president's communication.
It's actually the law, though, right? So the National Records Act.
No, yeah, but that's the White House's job. Act, that's not Twitter's job.
No, it's actually not. So here's the thing: the National Records Act basically says any communications of the executive branch of the president must be preserved on the original media in which it was written, right? And then you can make copies of it. You can do whatever you want. But the original media on which it was written. So if he wrote it out with his hand, in the toilet onto a piece of paper, and then had some jerk put it on Twitter, that piece of paper needs to be preserved, right?
So his phone is now like super sacred.
Yeah, no, literally, you can't throw away the phone, man. You have to keep it. But anyway, so I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't see how that's Twitter's job. CNN doesn't have to keep a copy of the president's speech on their website because they just don't.
But I don't know.
But I also don't know that I necessarily want Twitter to be the company that's responsible for deciding what's true and what's false on their platform.
It definitely gets problematic, and personally, I don't think you should take down any speech that they do in rights unless is hurting someone. But if you are going to do it, I think it's important to do it consistently and by the rules that you have. So
see, you guys, you're really upstanding people, right? So what would be really funny is if you slowly change like a character at a time over days of all of his posts, to the point where it's like it says wildly different things. And until like his blood boils over and he has an aneurysm, he's like, I didn't type that, and yeah. So that would be more gratifying.
You think that he
like
remembers the tweet that he tweeted 2 days ago?
I just think it would be really funny. He's like, yeah.
I don't know. He's already kind of done that many times. He said he's never tweeted stuff that he has tweeted.
Well, he's not talking to us, right? He's talking to the base,
right. But again,
like the base believes whatever he says.
We live in a world where it doesn't really matter what facts are or the truth. It matters how you feel about stuff and whose team you're on. So
once again, man, it's truthiness. It comes down to truthiness. Mr.
Colbert was completely correct.
Yep.
Colbert always calls it. Yeah.
All right, folks. I think it's time for us to wrap this puppy up.
It's such a dumb country.
I can't wait to see what he says today and how Twitter censored it.
Yep.
You know what I hope he says? I hope he goes.
But they escalated, man. Yeah. They did it again, and they escalated. So it's going to only get more interesting. May you live in interesting times. Hey, thanks, Chris DeBona.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I'm all over the place on this Trump thing. I just hate talking about the guy. I don't follow him on social media. I haven't gotten to the point where I mute him yet. I'm just like, I don't want to have anything to do with this guy. What a piece of crap.
I don't either.
Nothing he's going to say or do is going to change my opinion about him and the people.
And nothing we say or do is going to change the opinion of the 40% of America who's all in on the guy.
And it's like, it's appalling,
And they think the same thing about Hillary.
The good news is it's really only about 25% of the country.
Yeah.
It's just everyone else is too lazy to actually vote or do anything.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. Well, and it's actually probably more like only 10 or 15% of the country once you factor in like the swing votes and the people who aren't going to vote. But I mean,
I got to say though, I think it's important to hear what those people are saying, even if you don't believe in it.
Yep.
I don't mute anything. I want to hear all the nonsense. I want to hear how bad it's getting out there, so I can set a baseline for expectations.
I read Fox News on a regular basis.
If you don't follow Donald Trump, you still see his crap from people moving it around.
Absolutely.
That's true.
I mean, he's like a rabbit leaving little trails of rabbit poop everywhere he goes.
Except for his rabbit poop. I'd like to thank Rob Roseboom.
All right. See you guys.
All right. This has been episode. Oh, man. I don't even remember. I lost my notes. 464 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda. I hope that you enjoyed our ranting.
Are you sure it's not a later episode?
Who cares? Bye.
The music started.